today
Yeah.
I'm going to do is some of the quiz first. So actually if in initial session we discussed about different analysis, right? What is the good requirement? What is the role of a business architect? And what is different good criteria for smart objectives? So first actually first 6 questions are related to that application analysis. So then actually we have multiple questions with the application design onto the cases, stages, and all that. Okay.
So Mukesh,
So
today we are going to discuss this quiz only.
yeah, actually after this quiz, actually I'm going to discuss the application analysis today, only the 6 questions. Okay. And I'll send you this one document as well. I'm not going to send you the answers, and I'm expecting the answers for the second part from your end. So that second part you can try. There is 9 questions into it. Okay, in application design there are 9 questions. So you can check that out.
Okay.
Okay. So today actually we are going to the first 6 questions only, and then I'll tell you the how we can go for end to end onto the solution wise what we did, the recap of the things. And actually I thought I covered one of the other topic, which is the automatic business policy. So that actually consists of how you can automate your business with the different rules provided by Pega.
Okay.
So if that if that, we can see that out. Okay, okay. So we'll start our that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom this, the font size. I'm going to increase that. That will help. Okay. Okay. So the first question: which activity does a business architect participate in during application analysis? Link requirement with specification, write requirements, write specification, conduct a playback session.
So only one answer.
Playback.
Yeah, only one answer.
Conduct a playback session.
No, that's
Write specifications.
I think it's
Sorry, write requirements. I mean, oh no, I think the first one, link requirements. Okay.
I think it's write requirements.
Right. I think the right requirement. That's what I was. Yeah.
See, the thing is that during the analysis like this, the main thing is that, yeah, it can be multiple answers. If you see the complete application analysis, if you do requirements and specification, but this is actually onto the Pega context. So the main thing is actually see your objectives and requirements are actually predefined. Actually, like there actually you have got that before the analysis itself. Like you have your requirements and then you go for specification. Mainly like you do specification onto that. So once you have with the requirement, you convert that into specification during the analysis in Pega context.
So in application analysis, we have the requirements already with us, and after that we are just analyzing the system. For this we need to, I think then we need to link the requirements with the specification.
Yeah, the first thing you need to write the specification, and after that you can start linking the requirement with that. The first
won't this go together? Because how can we just write the specification and then we are linking it with the requirement? I think it will go hand in hand.
But if you don't have the specification, you cannot link that as well, right? First you need to write the specification, then only you are going to link that.
I think specification is what we create from the requirement. Means maybe I'm wrong on this, but what I understand is, means here this specification means functional or technical specification.
Functional.
But
Mukesh, actually the question says which activity does the business architect participate? So it's not the main person who conducts it, but only participates. So in that way, we can eliminate conduct a playback session, because that would be meaning that the business architect is doing the main role, right?
Yeah.
So in writing requirements, won't the business architect be the main person who's doing it?
Yes, business architect actually do the requirements. Yes, but not at the during the application analysis.
Right. Okay.
When you say playback session means exactly what it means?
That is the we are actually not covered that actually we are going to cover that. That's the DCO session, like elaboration and grooming. What is the role of that? Actually, we have conducted the workshops and the DCO session, and everything actually we have gathered what need to be done, what is the UI and everything is actually you have final, and finally you are going to playback with everyone, the process model, data model, UI model with everyone. That is we call as playback session.
It's pretty much like a demo to the customer for the from the business architect.
That's right, for the final approval. Okay. So that it will be so that okay, this is
before you get into the developers start working on it, you get it right. Enough from
Mukesh. How this requirement gathering is different from DCO?
Sorry, Sonam, can you come again?
How this requirement gathering is different from DCO session? Is this like the requirement is more on elaboration? We have like first the first phase of requirements, then we elaborate it, and then we conduct this DCO session. What is the difference between requirement gathering and DCO?
Requirement gathering and in requirement gathering, it's you can in normal term is the same, but in Pega terminology, what is do that actually during that we start creating our prototype as well in the Pega application. Whatever information we gather into the requirements gathering, we start capturing that into the Pega itself in the DCO sessions.
Yeah. So that's why I think this conduct a playback session is given by the developers who have, or the QA, the testing team who has tested the whole functionality, and after that.
This is actually not application is not built now. Okay, this is actually before you have requirements, the prototyping is in progress, UI mockups, right, data modeling. So actually it's just before, if you see in your role you are going to create cases, right, you can go through the cases stages and everything. So that actually just need to show up with the business users. Okay, this is the way you want your application. So and after that, the UI, like how you look and feel of the dynamic UI, more data modeling, more validations, and all other rules is going to be introduced by SA after that.
Okay. Okay.
So this is actually
right specifications, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, one more thing, Mukesh. So we are going to get these types of questions.
Yes, that's right.
And they are very subjective, like these are like we cannot be sure that whatever we are choosing the option, it is going to be correct, because they are all closely related to.
Yeah, what I'm going to do is now, actually I'll send you a separate document, actually that will be the complete document, which will be like a PDF, so that you can read that one, so you can get, like when we'll conduct the elaboration one, right, the grooming, so there actually we can get to know more on to the Pega terminology, how Pega try to Pega BPM methodology. So based on that, there are some of the terminology we need to think about that. So this is a little bit different from other one. So how DCOs work. So when we capture the DCO session in coming week, so that you can get to know more onto more details about it.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the next one. So you have this requirement
this is a business rule. This one.
This is the requirement. Okay. So customers who have more than Yes. So actually, like, what is the category of this one? Yeah, you have 4 options.
Okay, my answer is business rule.
Oh, sorry. Yes, it's a business rule because here we are doing that. Actually, we want to the automatically waived off. So this is actually one of the business rules only.
Which maybe you can reduce the font a bit so you don't have to scroll much. I think it's
Yeah,
pretty
I
big
thought
enough.
it will like, okay, fine.
You can, I think, zoom in from here, from the right, bottom right,
I think this
other
is,
than changing the
It is,
font.
yeah, this is good also. This is good
No,
size.
not,
I
is this
mean,
fine?
yeah, the font is okay, and if you want, you can zoom in too. Yeah,
Okay, fine.
but this is good. I mean, I can see it.
But zoom actually again see it's
Yeah, it makes it big. I think the one which you had just before this was the right size.
yeah.
yeah, I think this is fine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So next one is that every order should have unique identifier. Functional, non-functional, enterprise standards, or business rule.
So enterprise standard.
Yeah. That's right, Manoj. Actually, it should actually we have following a standard to follow a unique identifier. The next is valued customers should have all fees waived. So this requirement is which things are not there in this one.
It
It's
is
not
not
specified.
verifiable. It is not verifiable
For what purpose?
because we don't know what is a valued customer, like based on what they are defining a valued customer, so we will not be able to verify it.
That's right.
Or
Actually, yeah. Actually, that's right. Actually, yeah. We're not able to verify what do you mean by valued customer. Like in which category we say that they are valued customer or not. In what criteria, so that we are not able to verify this one.
So it is not verifiable. That's the answer, right?
That's right. Like this is there are some things actually is missing also, like it is time bound or anything, but there is a specific to this one. They are looking for so that option also is not there. So this is actually the thing that like we are not able to know how you verify valued customer. So for what purpose actually you are waiving off for that customer. So you need to identify if the customer is valuable or not. So that cannot be verifiable from this statement.
I mean, if I say it is not specific, how different is it from it is not verifiable?
If it's there, this is specific. Like if the valued customer, it's specific to that.
Okay.
But you cannot test it, that one. Who is
Okay.
valued customer?
I was of the opinion that it is not atomic because we could have split this into 2 requirements, and first we would have targeted for the valued customer, and then we should have combined it with this valued customer should have all fees waived.
Actually, see, in case of if atomic, actually you can say, yeah, that is like if you have two different things, like if you are using and onto that, but instead this is an atomic only. You are not using any conjunction into this one and or anything.
Okay.
So if you see, actually, yeah, you can. If you like, in one context, it's right. Actually, we have can convert into 2 requirement and we can get it. But here we are just talking about only one this requirement only. What's the like in this statement? It's there. So in that, if you can say there is no conjunctions and or verb or in this one. So that's it's actually atomic from that point of view. For the completeness, yeah, that can be converted into two separate requirements.
Okay.
So the next is, after 3 unsuccessful login attempts, a JavaScript routine should run and log the user out of the system. In what ways does the requirement violate best practice? It's not verifiable, it's not solution free, it's not in business terms, it's not atomic.
It is not solution free.
Any more options?
It's not in business terms.
Mhm.
Oh, no, it is. JavaScript should routine lock these out of the system. No.
Any more choice?
It's not atomic.
I think it is not atomic.
Mm-hmm. How come?
It's not saying which exact
Actually, like it's a single one, right? Actually, like we say after like the first is the
Here we
first
have
reason.
conjunction, and so that's why. This
No
is one of
conjunction, right?
we have here, and so that's why I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just mentioned that there are no conjunctions.
Yeah. But actually, like if you say they are, should run and log the user. So that's the thing. The JavaScript should run is the solution, right? If you can see, we are providing the solution into it. Our requirement, the JavaScript should run, should not be here.
Oh, so you're saying you're giving a solution also in the requirement. Okay.
That's right. Actually, if you say after the 3 unsuccessful login item, log the user out of the system. Right? So the requirement, if you say, that's again atomic without the solution. So the JavaScript should run is actually your solution you are providing into that.
Sorry, Mukesh, I didn't get it.
You see, actually, in this requirement, you can see it's like how you are going to do that. It's written into the requirement. Like a JavaScript is in a more technical term, and
Okay.
after the JavaScript should run, then it will going to log out the user, right? So you are providing the solution into the requirement itself, and
Okay.
specific solution as well into that.
Okay, then what should be the answer according to you? It is not
The
so.
third one, it's not in the business. It's not solution free. It's not in solution free. Okay, we are providing the solution with the requirement.
So the answer is
Second.
Second.
Yes, it's not solution free.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So if a company wants to use social media to increase the number of advocates for their product, they are updating their website to make it easier to use and faster to complete a transaction. Consider the business objective. Expand the number of advocates on Twitter from 500 to 750 without a drop in the adoption rate. This business objective is incomplete because it is not measurable, specific, relevant, time bound.
Time bound.
Time bound.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, we are not saying that like in what duration we are going to increase from 500 to 750. So it is like are we doing instantly or we are going gradually or anything? Is nothing is mentioned onto that requirement. Sorry, in objective. Okay. Do you want to continue with this one or?
This is the second set of questions?
Yeah, this is no, not needed now. Actually, I have not covered this one. Oh, sorry. This
Okay.
is actually like we need to cover this session which we have not done. Oh, okay. This is the application design part. Actually, we need to. The session is not yet done for this one. Okay, so that we can skip this part. Yeah. Okay. We'll do that one. We'll do this one later. Okay. So actually, like, I'm going to explain from this one as a single diagram itself. Okay. So that's the diagram we use, like 10 steps we have, right?
Mukesh, I think your sound is like sounds like your mouth is covered or your mic is covered.
Yeah. 1 minute. My son is like little bit soft. Sorry. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Oh yeah, sure.
Actually, too. Is it fine now, Manoj?
Yeah, it's sharp now.
Okay,
So
good.
your son is bothering you?
Yeah, I can just sit on my lap.
Oh yeah. They want daddy's attention, that's it.
Yes. So, yeah. So, actually, what we covered is like till now, actually, like we are just going to recap everyone. So, just to recap. So, we started with the first slide, building blocks. So, there we actually captured what is the role of a business architect and how is different from a traditional business architect, right? And what are the different how we can go for like use cases, user different type of roles, and organization. This are not covered. Okay, this part. The situation they create. No, it's I think I've not covered this slide. Yeah, I think this one is another different one. Sorry. I'm using it. So the next thing, like we mainly discuss about what is objectives, smart objectives, what is requirement, what are the different best practices to write the requirement. So that actually we covered about the what is smart objectives, what are the different way of going for the smart objectives. Then we go for, yeah. Then the requirement analysis. Then actually what are the different components we are involved, what's the purpose of requirement analysis, how to write a good requirement, what are the different category of requirements. So how we can going to capture the requirements in Pega, we can go for after that, that's actually after the knowledge check we did, and then we go for the specifications. So this is actually like your till that actually like it's a part of the dissociation where we're doing the elaboration and grooming. We'll be finding our the initial level of requirement, initial design onto that. So in this during the specification, we look for what is sorry, not this one. Oh, this is like different one. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's actually we do the during the application design. So that's actually like for your mainly like your specification before writing specification. What are the things we are going to do with that? So what are the different steps to write the good specifications? We check that out. Okay. So then actually we started our case management. So we started after that, like if we have requirements, specifications, and objective, then we started with the what do you mean by case within the Pega. So there actually we have discussed about the all the concepts actually, like we started with the within this order. So there actually we have high level project vision, inter requirement, and then your specification are done. So then we are going with the process. So process are actually like consist of three things: your case modeling, process modeling, and flow modeling. Once we have done all the things, we can start with the data modeling and your UI modeling. And within the UI modeling, we look for the validation as well. And then actually we need to look for other things as well. So
have we covered up to 5?
Yes, actually we have covered till 5 yet.
Okay.
So we are going to start with the automatic business policy and this one together. 6 and 7 are going to be covered together. And this is the integration, so that is not much required. That's required actually to say if you need to integrate with other systems, so that is like we need to create a separate integration specifications for the same. How we are going to integrate with that, how, which all data is required from that systems. So that actually we're going to connect to external systems. And finally, like we are going to see the report, like how we can going to generate the reports, what are the different report options available in Pega. We'll see that out. So next week actually we're going to start with the this one. In automatic business policy, Pega provide different rules. Actually, like there are different decision rules are there. Like we have seen decision safe. So within the decision safe, we have different rules to capture, like decision table, decision tree, when rule. So when rule is nothing but like if condition. So if you want to check something specific to if, so that we can check for the during the business automatic business policy, and we can apply service level, so that like we say something the task need to be done in within that time. So Pega provide different terminology for the service level agreement, SLAs. So in that it will be called as SLAs in Pega. So they provide different times for that: goal time, deadline time, and fast deadline. So that we can also configure without any technical knowledge. With that can be also configured SLAs. And one thing actually again in the automatic business policy is the correspondence. So correspondence plays a major role, like how will you communicate to the user? Because whatever the things are happening, we need to communicate with the user at different time of the case. So if any status is getting changed, or something gets approved, something gets rejected, or something got actually delivered, or something got accounted, created, or claim is processed, claim everything. It's like we need communication with the all the parties which are involved into that one. So that Pega provided very good correspondence notification onto that. So we're going to see that as well. And in the automatic business policy, we have one more option that we called as delegation. So Pega has actually one more feature that actually say we are building for change. So whatever rules, or actually some of the rules actually which are keep on changing. So if you see if a shopping site, right? So they actually provide a lot of discount in between. During the sale, they increase the discount rate. So all that, if you see, if for that, if it is, we have some configuration option. If you can set that up in a table, and that is actually based on the table, that value can be used in production directly. So we don't need to like any new deployment or anything for the same. So directly like business users can change the some of the policies or some of the terms. And if you can see the email messages which is going to the users, so that is like they have the control that okay, if they want to change something into the just the email content. So Pega provide one more feature that you can update that directly in the production environment without impacting anything. Okay, so that is like we call as delegation. So I'll tell you about how we can go for the delegation as well to the business onto the automated business policy. So that is like there are various topics to be covered onto the automatic business policy. And finally, like we're going to see the different options with the case management. So in the case management, we look for what is case and what are the different actors. Wow, we can go for case decomposition. What is the naming convention? We go for the case type. Okay, and then actually like what are stages we are going to define in the stage. So when we do our actually application or prototyping, first actually we go with the like your requirement gathering, all the actually where requirements is done. Then we start with the dissociations to gather more onto the specifications. So in the during the specification, we start capturing all the details within the Pega application, and we start our prototyping of the what are the different stages will be there into that case. So we start with the case management, the application creation first. We start our application. So application creation process is 4-step process. We divide initially the application setting, business objectives, and we provide what are the cases we are going to involve, just the name of it, and what are the different data objects we are going to capture that. And then once application is created, we can start forming our case onto that. So within the
Mukesh, here I had one question.
Yes.
In the primary stages, it can be both automatic or it can be manual, right? Whereas
Yes,
in
right.
alternate, it can be only manual, is it?
That's right. Like we cannot route the work directly to the alternate stage. So
Correct.
only like we need to do it manually. It cannot go automatic to there. Actually, it's need to be manually set by some of the user action. Like if you are approving or you are rejecting, or you want to update the case, or you want to
Okay.
cancel the request. So that are all the alternate stage. So that need to be done some of the manual only. And
Okay.
in that also alternate stage will not transit as well. So if you that alternate stage, whatever the steps in that stage only will be going to execute. It will not execute all the other alternate stage as well. But in case of primary, there is a transition, right? So from one stage is completed, either it will go for manually or automatic move to the next stage as well. So that's the one of the difference onto that.
So alternate is never automated.
Yeah, that's right. Alternate stage are like normal, abnormal course of action. So unhappy path. So that is like not going to happen in every day, like every sequence. So that needs to be actually like if something actually which is not onto the happy path, is you are going to do some other, like see if your leave request is rejected, so then it will go to the alternate stage. If it is happy, so then it will go to the normal course of action. So what was the next stage? We will go for leave, and actually the case will be resolved with that. With alternate stage, the case will be abnormally terminated without completing the happy path. Okay. So there are some case reasons. What the best practice for the defining stages. Then we did some demo on that one, and then the process. So in the process, we have seen actually how we can convert what are the steps you want to do within the your process, like what the action steps you are going to perform. We did that one. So process also we check that, and what is the naming convention, process, best practices to define the process and steps. Okay. Then we started with the flow modeling. So in the flow we have seen what are the different shapes are available, like smart shapes, basic shapes, and advanced shapes. So there actually we have talked about single shape, multi-shape, and shape, what the best practices to identify them, and then the shapes which we have, then what the best practice for the intent driven and the flows best practices. Then we talked about optional process and local actions. So that actually how we to set up in the different level, in the case level, stage level, and into the local level. We sort that out. Just a minute. Anand? Sorry. Uh, okay. So that actually talked about.
Mukesh, can you give an example for optional process like
Yeah.
giving
Yeah. Optional process is nothing but like, see, you have okay. You are creating a case for candidate. Okay. So most of the time you are actually arranging the interview in the telephonic. Okay. And for the some specific scenario, you are doing that face to face. So that actually, if you say for that purpose, you are going to put a optional process. So you are scheduling actually when he's going to arrive, when it's like the process for optional process. So he's going to give you the office location where he's going to do that, right? So the conduct of that will be little different from the telephonic one. So for the specific candidate, you are doing for face to face round. So that can added as a optional process. Okay. And one more example is actually the same candidate. Okay, he is from government. Actually, like he is actually was a previously working as a some government company. So before hiring him, you need security clearance. So you need to say that okay, that employee is actually from government. So you need that he has actually like a clean sheet from that. So in that scenario, you are actually going to for a optional scenario. If it's a government employee, you can go for an optional process to start for his security clearance.
okay, yeah.
So that's still like, see, you don't do that occasionally. Like for every scenario, you don't do it. For some of the scenario, you need to do that so that you can make that as optional process. Okay. So there is two difference between the optional process and local action. So local action is actually like just one action you can complete in a single screen. An optional process, if you require multiple screen and some more action need to be done, then we go for as a process. So if you see, you want to send an email in between to anyone, right? And during the process, you need to contact someone else. So you can send an email from as a local action, or you want to attach some notes, or you want to attach some email to your case. So you have an option, okay, attach the note or attach an email to the case yourself. So that can be added as a local action to your case. So if you say your leave is rejected, so you want that, okay, what reason? So he can attach, okay, there is some project requirement and there is that this reason. You want to attach some document as a to your case. So you can, for the rejection, there is a reason and that can be added as a note or it can be added as an attachment onto your case. So that can be added as a local action. Okay. So that will be covered different onto that. Then we have demos onto that. Work status. Actually, we have discussed about the different concepts regarding the work status. There are 4 types of the work status. So that is a new, open, pending, and resolve. So that should be the prefix always, and after that we can add it more any suffix we want. We can add that with that one. Because why that is that? So there are Pega provide a lot of predefined reports. So based on that, the work status of the prefix, they provide different reports. So that's why actually they say that if we change that that one, so the predefined reports will not work in that actually which we want to do that. So in that scenario, we should use the prefix as only 4 of them: new, open, pending, and resolve. And then actually we started with the data modeling. We see that the entity relationship diagram, what are the different concepts with the data modeling, and like we used to start at like what are the different properties which are available in Pega. We have single mode, page mode, we have page list, page group, single page, different text, integer, passwords, numbers, and we started creating that. We created all the properties which is in there in the ER diagram as well. And then we moved to our UI modeling and validation.
Did we do the ER diagram?
No, actually, that was designed before itself. We created the same model in our application. We created all the data objects separately.
Okay.
So actually, like we created employee, we created leave request, we created the 3 other one onto that.
Okay.
So Mukesh, data modeling is 100% business architect's role, or system architect will also be involved in it? Like, what is the
Yeah, actually, see, yeah, data modeling is actually like in the DCO sessions only we're going to do that. So what are the different data we are going to capture, and actually like business users going to say, okay, we need this field, this need to be displayed into this field. So that need to be decided with everyone, and that need to be finalized. And like we know actually like data actually like during the design also we need to know there are many more fields may be required to support other conditions and variables. So that actually during the design build phase also we are going to change that as well. So during the DCO, it's the role of VA to design. Yeah, actually, like in nowadays, every company are getting a data architect as well. So he do the data modeling most of the time.
Yeah. Usually, that is what happens.
That's happened actually like nowadays. Actually, like yeah. So that's not the responsibility of BA to do the data modeling. So we have like because every application are related with like heterogeneous, so multiple applications are involved. So most of the time we have a data architect to do the data modeling. So he will do the take care of the data modeling.
In terms of Pega BPM methodology, the business architect is 100% responsible for data modeling.
Yeah, actually, yeah, there is no data architect in Pega. So he is actually like going to like there may be 2 business architects. One is actually taking care of the other concept. He might take care of the data modeling within the Pega itself. Okay.
So you mean like one business architect who knows more of the data modeling will do that work?
It's like he can do the multiple things as well, but in one project he might go for data architect, like capturing the details about the data modeling, validations, UI, or one is taking care of other rules within that. So you can like it can be divided between that if there are multiple one. If there is only one, he need to do all the things.
Okay. So the business architects needs to do that.
Yes.
Actually, Mukesh, in this slide when I reviewed, there was this parallel steps. I think there was one thing. Is it still there in the new version?
Yes. I think you're talking about parallel process, right?
Parallel process. Yeah.
Yeah. It's there. You see, okay. If I resign from a company, right, and I need different approvals from different places, right? Actually, if you say I need approval, clearance from IT department, I need clearance from facility, I need clearance from project manager, I need clearance from transport, right? So there are different departments are there. So if I submit my leave request and when I go in for clearance, I don't need to wait for one of the other one, right? I can go for actually there are different flow for clearance for everyone. So all can start working parallelly into that. So I can like HR department can work independently of the IT or facilities. Like same way each other, vice versa, they can work independently of each other. So all the flows of that can start parallelly.
Okay.
All
And
the process can start.
have to right click on the step to change it to parallel process, is it?
Okay, that I'll
I
just show you
tried
that.
doing it, I didn't know how to.
Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, I just need to log off. So if you see your case, actually like your in the stage is there. Actually, once you added one process, okay, first to make a parallel process, what you need to do is you need to create stage. Okay, once you created the stage, you create the first process within it. Okay, and after that, if you come back to your stage, you will see two options: add one more process or add a parallel process with it. Let's see, admin configurator. So if you see your page, so now if you can see, actually like, okay, there is only one process in this one, right? So if you if you can see this one stage, if you click onto that, you have two options now: add a process, add a parallel process, or you want to delete the stage. Okay. If you have already added a parallel process, also here you can see the same option. So if you say I'm going to add a one more stage for just showing you up. So if you say I'm going to write text. Okay. So now if you see here, you have only one option will come from that. Okay. So if you, here you will see only one delete. Only one thing is there that actually like we want to add the process. So the first time you can add the process here. Okay. So now if you come there, you will see that two options: add process, add parallel process.
Okay.
If you delete this one, only you
Also,
can.
actually, I thought here this particular one which you showed is for the parallel stage, but it's actually parallel process that we're doing.
Yeah, parallel stage is nothing concept. Parallel process. Yeah. So if you see here.
Okay. Okay. So there's nothing called a parallel stage
No, parallel stage is
in
nothing.
Pega.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is
Okay. Yeah, that's
process only. Okay. So if you see now, you will get only option of add process now. Okay. Add process is also not coming. I think we need to create from here itself. So add process is also not. It's actually the previous version. We have actually if you have nothing, actually it's going to provide you just process. So there is actually from this you can add the process. Once you added that, after that it will show you only two options: add process or add parallel source onto that. Okay. So I'm going to delete that too. So this way you can add parallel process onto it. Okay. Yeah. So basically I'm talking about the UI modeling. No, this not. Yeah. Process modeling, yes. Okay. So we discussed about this process modeling as well. What's my last one? Yeah, UI modeling, we did it from here. So the UI modeling, we talked about what are the different rules: flow actions, sections, harness, and portal. Little bit onto that. So there actually we have the 4 type of harness: new, perform, review, and conform. And BA's main role to perform actually like how the feel of perform harness, because that's the mainly business users is going to do their work. So that as a business architect, we need to focus on to the perform harness one. Okay, and then we talked about flow actions, sections, what is it like mean by intent driven, then what are the rules actually as a part of BNSA, and what's the best practices to update the requirement and specifications. Then the what like HTML5, different browser, different OS, and different devices. And the like finally like the best practices for the UI. Then I showed you one of the demo for how to convert our applications to the different layouts, how to use the different onto that one. And finally, like we started with the validations. So Pega provide different level of validation. So validations are not required to be created by you. Only like that it need to be updated as a requirement or specifications. So that need to be done. And after that, how that can be done, or like which rules, like we have different rules, validate, constraint, or edit validate. So depend on that, we can consult with essays to form that out. So this is the different level of where we want to update the requirements. Yeah, so that's it like we have covered. So that we are going to cover in next week. We are going to start with the automatic business policy. So in the automatic business policy that I told, we have different things like what are the different decision logics, what is SLAs. Yeah, and one more I forgot, routing. Like routing also it plays the correct one. So see, in many places what's happened is the work goes to wrong person, and it's like it takes time to resolve that. He cannot authorize to do that. Then it need to go back again. It's sent to the specific person. So Pega provide a different feature of routing as well. So it will go to the correct person. So that will see the concept of the routing as well. So in automatic business policy, there are different terms. We are going to see the decision logic, routing, notifications, correspondence, and finally like delegation. So that all the things we are going to capture into the automatic business policy. So that is like more, like you can see, some of the things are little bit technical, some of the things can be done without any technical as well. So that is like the mixture of automatic business policy, a mixture of both role for SAs and BA. So that we're going to cover in next week. Okay, so that's it for today. So if you have any questions more, we can discuss it out. And I'm going to send you one actually that I told. Actually, I'll send you that document as well to create one more separate application for practice that one.
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions for today? So we can wind up. So we are going to meet up again on Monday. So tomorrow and yeah, I'm going to miss the 2 classes.
Monday means Sunday.
Sunday evening, yeah, for your Sunday evening, and Monday morning for me. Yeah.
Okay.
This week actually, yeah, actually we have missed the session, so we thought that actually we'll have these sessions on Monday evening. Monday morning, Sunday evening for you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, Mukesh.
Thanks
Mukesh,
a lot.
one more thing, Mukesh.
Yes.
When we do these sessions, you know, like when you go with the theory, the next day, can we do some practice sessions?
Yeah, sure, we can do that. Actually, like what will, what the application will I send you, right? So I will check everyone actually what they did for that one.
Okay.
And actually, like if something that, like I will show you that as well, like what need to be done onto that as well on the first day.
Okay, actually,
Right,
Mukesh,
okay.
I was also going to ask the same thing. Like till stages and steps and process, I'm okay. But then when it comes to that flow and data model, I felt if we could actually try when you are there, no, like we'll probably
Okay.
finish that in over the weekend, and then from that flow and data modeling part with UI part alone, if you can supervise and see how we are doing,
Sure.
we'll be a bit more confident just for once to try.
Sure, Priyanka, we'll do that out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, and good luck, Mukesh, with the competition. I think you're going for the competition, right?
Yes, that's right. Actually, thanks a lot. So we'll be going to tomorrow morning. So we'll be back for 2 days. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, have fun.
Thanks, thanks everyone. Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
संडे और क्या करा वो?